Have you ever heard a strange story, a whisper on the wind or a headline online that makes you stop and think? Lately, a very curious idea has been floating around. It suggests that men, half of our human family, might be on a slow path to disappearing. The rumor claims that something is changing deep inside their bodies, within their very DNA, causing them to become weaker with every new generation. This sounds like something from a science fiction film, a dramatic tale of a world changing in a fundamental way. But where do these ideas come from? They often arise from a misunderstanding of complex science, turning a small scientific question into a grand, alarming prediction about the future of humanity itself. These stories often paint a picture of a future with fewer and fewer men, a world where our species faces a unique and unprecedented challenge. They speak of a decaying part of human genetics, something that only men possess. This idea can be unsettling, making us question the very foundations of our existence and the balance of nature we see all around us. It is human nature to be fascinated by such dramatic possibilities. We are storytellers, and a tale of potential extinction captures our imagination like few others. But it is crucial, when we hear such whispers, to ask questions. We must look beyond the exciting headline and seek the truth that lies within the careful world of scientific discovery. So, what is at the heart of this dramatic claim? The focus of all this concern is a tiny, yet incredibly important piece of our genetic code called the Y chromosome. This is the part of our DNA that, in humans, determines whether a baby will develop as a male. The stories suggest that this chromosome is shrinking or losing its power over time, a slow genetic erosion that could one day lead to its complete disappearance. If the Y chromosome were to vanish, the argument goes, then the biological blueprint for making men would vanish along with it. This is the core of the DNA dilemma, a puzzle that has sparked both public worry and intense scientific investigation. But as we begin to explore this mystery, we must hold on to a sense of perspective. The natural world is full of incredible stories of survival, adaptation, and resilience. Life is remarkably robust. Before we accept these frightening headlines, we must do what any good explorer does. We must gather the evidence, listen to the experts, and look at the facts with clear eyes. Is this a genuine crisis unfolding in our DNA, a flaw in our own design? Or is it perhaps a grand misunderstanding, a case of our fears running ahead of the science? The journey to find the answer begins by understanding the very building blocks of life itself. To understand this story, we must travel into the microscopic world inside our own bodies. Almost every cell contains a complete instruction manual for building and running you. This manual is called your DNA, and it is tightly packed into structures called chromosomes. Most humans have 46 chromosomes in each cell, arranged in 23 pairs. The final pair, the sex chromosomes, holds a special secret. They decide whether you are biologically male or female. This is where we find the famous Y chromosome. It is one of the smallest chromosomes we have, but it carries a mighty responsibility. It holds the key to being male. Now, why is this a potential problem for men and not for women? The answer lies in how these chromosomes are paired. A female has two large X-shaped chromosomes, a pair known simply as XX. These two X chromosomes can exchange information and repair each other if one gets damaged, keeping the genetic code stable. A male, however, has a different pairing. He has one X chromosome and one much smaller Y chromosome, a combination known as XY. Because the Y chromosome has no matching partner, it has less opportunity to fix errors that might occur over many generations. This is what led some scientists, many years ago, to wonder if the Y chromosome was slowly losing its genetic information. This unique situation has made the Y chromosome a subject of great scientific curiosity. It is true that over vast stretches of evolutionary time, hundreds of millions of years, the Y chromosome has lost many of the genes it once shared with the X chromosome. It has become highly specialized, focusing almost entirely on its main job, activating the pathways that lead to male development. This shrinkage, observed over an immense geological timescale, is the grain of truth that has grown into the myth of the disappearing man. It is a story of ancient genetic history, not a breaking news report about our immediate future. The most up-to-date scientific research, however, tells a different, more reassuring story. Scientists who have carefully studied the Y chromosomes of humans and other mammals have found something remarkable. It appears the Y chromosome's decay has largely stopped. It has reached a stable point, holding on to a small but essential core of genes that are vital for male fertility and health. It is not on a path to vanishing within any meaningful human timescale. Women are not stronger in this regard. Their cells simply use a different 2X chromosome system for genetic housekeeping. The Y chromosome has evolved its own unique strategies for survival, proving it is far more resilient than we once thought. To truly grasp what a loss of genetic health means, we can look to the animal kingdom. Nature provides us with powerful, real-world examples. Consider the story of the mighty Atlantic sturgeon, a fish that has swum in our planet's waters since the time of the dinosaurs. These ancient creatures once thrived, but their populations have faced a severe decline. A recent study in 2024 revealed a hidden crisis within their DNA. Centuries of overfishing created what scientists call a bottleneck, where only a few individuals survived to pass on their genes. This has had a devastating effect on their genetic diversity, the variety of genes within their population. The sturgeons swimming in our rivers today have only about 1/5 of the genetic variety that their ancestors had. Why does this matter so much? Genetic diversity is like a toolbox for survival. The more tools a species has, the better it can adapt to new challenges, like changing water temperatures, new diseases, or different food sources. For the sturgeon, their shrinking genetic toolbox makes them extremely vulnerable. They are less able to adapt and are at a much higher risk of extinction. Their story is a powerful lesson, showing that the health of a species is written not just in its numbers, but in the richness of its DNA. This is a very different situation from the one facing the human Y chromosome. The sturgeon's problem was caused by a sudden external pressure, overfishing, that drastically reduced its population and its genetic pool. The concern about the Y chromosome, on the other hand, was about a slow internal process of decay over millions of years. The latest science shows our Y chromosome is not in a bottleneck. It is stable and healthy across the vast human population of billions. We are not like the sturgeon, facing a sudden collapse in our genetic toolkit. The comparison helps us see the difference between a real, present danger and a theoretical one. However, the challenges faced by animals like the sturgeon have inspired scientists to develop incredible new technologies. For species on the brink, or even for those already lost, science is exploring bold solutions. We have learned to read and even rewrite DNA. Technologies like cloning and gene editing are no longer just ideas. They are becoming reality. These tools could one day be used to restore lost genetic diversity in endangered animals, giving them a fighting chance at survival. They open up a new chapter in conservation, one where we might be able to repair some of the damage we have caused. The world of genetics is moving at a breathtaking pace. In 2025, scientists announced a stunning achievement, the birth of pups modeled on the long-extinct dire wolf. While not perfect replicas, these animals were created by taking DNA from ancient fossils and using advanced gene editing technology to modify the DNA of a living relative, the grey wolf. This field, known as de-extinction, shows us how powerful our understanding of DNA has become. We are learning not just to read the book of life, but to edit its pages. This same technology could, in theory, be used to address genetic problems in any species, including our own. For now, these tools are focused on conservation. Scientists are using cloning to help critically endangered species like the red wolf, creating new litters to bolster their tiny populations. These technologies offer a glimmer of hope for animals pushed to the edge by human activity. They raise profound questions, of course, about the ethics of creating life in a lab and the responsibilities we have to the animals we make. But they also demonstrate that science is not just about identifying problems. It is about actively searching for solutions. It provides a powerful counter-narrative to the idea that we are helpless against the forces of genetics. So is life designed with a fundamental flaw? A ticking clock in our DNA? The story of the Y chromosome suggests not. It shows us that evolution is a complex and clever process. The Y chromosome has adapted and stabilized, finding its own way to persist. The real threats to our future are more likely to come from the world around us than from a hidden error within ourselves. The story of the sturgeon teaches us that our own actions, like overfishing or damaging the environment, pose a much more immediate risk to biodiversity than slow-moving genetic changes. Our fate is not sealed by a shrinking chromosome. In the end, the fear that men are going extinct is a powerful story, but it is not supported by the science. The human Y chromosome is not vanishing. Our species is not facing a genetic crisis of this kind. We should be cautious of alarming headlines that simplify complex science into a tale of doom. Instead, we can feel a sense of wonder at the resilience of life and a sense of hope in the power of human ingenuity. Science offers us not a reason to worry about our DNA, but the tools to understand it, protect it, and ensure a healthy future for all of humanity, and for the incredible diversity of life with which we share this planet.